Wale froze. She had heard the whispers from the barracks. His unit was being rotated. He hadn't told her.
I didn't want to believe it,
she said, her voice soft. I didn't want it to be true, he admitted. The silence between them now was no longer tender. It was heavy, aching, and neither of them knew how to feel it. The heat returned with a vengeance, breaking Ogotade's earth until it cracked like old clay. The air stood still, thick with the kind of silence that came before something broke. The news arrived on the back of a rusted military truck. A soldier brought the orders in a sealed envelope. Wale's posting had changed. He was to report to a news station by the weekend. He held the paper in his hands long after the others had left, sitting on the edge of the court, unmoving. Around him, the barracks hummed with activity. Men packed their bags, joked, smoked, argued over missing boats. But Wale felt the world narrowing, like the walls were pressing in. That evening, he walked to the mango tree where it had all begun. Lola was already there. She stood barefoot, watching the sunset, the carved flute in her hand. She didn't need to ask. She could see it on his face, the way soldiers hold grief like another part of their kit.
You are really going,
she said quietly. I don't want to, he replied.
But you will.
He nodded. She turned away as if watching the horizon might keep her from crumbling. I've never been good at staying, he said, his voice low. My whole life's been movement, orders, marching towards something or away from it. But here, she looked at him then, and for the first time, her eyes were full of something fierce.
You don't get to speak like that and still live.
Wale stepped closer, then asked me to stay. The words hung in the air like thunder clouds. Lola clenched the flute. Her voice trembled.
If I ask and you leave anyway, how do I live with that?
He reached out, touched her hand. If you don't ask, I will leave, never knowing if I should have stayed. The silence between them was heavier than any goodbye. It stretched across the fading light and the empty space where possibility used to be. She said something, and so, 2 days later, Wale left. No fanfare, no promise, no letter. Only the echoes of the boots in the red earth fading into the wind. Lola didn't cry. She rose the next morning and helped her mother like always, but something in her had shifted. A silence inside her now matched the one outside, and in the hut beneath the mango tree, the little carved flute sat untouched. A month passed, then another. Wale was gone, and Ogotade moved on as villages always do. Rain fell, yams were harvested, and festivals whispered around the edges of town. But for Lola, time moved like smoke, slowly crawling into corners, never quite gone. She still walked the path that they once shared, still pressed the mango tree each morning, but the flute remained tucked away, buried under a cloth beside her sleeping mat. She never played it. She couldn't. Then came the fire. It began deep in the cassava fields one dry night. A falling lantern, a gust of wind, and in minutes the flames were racing toward the village edge. Screams split the night as families poured water on thatched roofs. Chickens scattered. Chickens cried. Lola woke to chaos. Her mother was already outside fighting the blaze with buckets drawn from the well. Lola didn't hesitate. She ran barefoot across burning ground, helping in carrying the elders from their homes, guiding goats and toddlers through the smoke. She tied a cloth around her face, her eyes stinging, her lungs aching, but she kept going. She did not think of Wale. She thought of them, the village, the place that raised her, the place that taught her to endure. By dawn, the flames had been tamed, but a dozen homes had fallen. Her family's roof had burned away, the walls scorched. Her mother wept softly as villagers gathered around a pile of charred cooking pots. Lola stood tall, even as ash clung to her skin like shadow. Then she heard the voice. Lola,